All right, guys, you saw it. We got new cool stuff. Hats, shirts, hoodies. We'll get some more orange hats because we only had one for the prototype. We got stickers, good for Yeti cups and toolboxes and your truck. Let's show you what I got done on the old Chevy. All right, so the other night I came out here. Well, let's see. Thursday was like a running around getting parts type day. And so I got rid of the red cab that was in the bed of this truck, put her in the garage because it was raining. I went and got steel, and so I've already got that one hacked up and got it over here. I was using this bed frame. It is absolutely garbage metal, so I'm not going to use it anywhere on this truck other than for like mocking up type stuff. That stuff is crap. It's garbage. It won't hold a weld, and it smells terrible. It smells like freaking moldy basement when you grind the paint off of it for some reason. So not doing that. We'll go spend the extra money and get new steel. But I did make a battery tray out of that, and it probably won't get ran because it just kind of sucks. Anyway, here's what I did. I got my brace made. This, I don't know how exactly I'm going to attach it to the firewall just yet, but this is how it's going to be. So I got this brace. I went and got bolts just a minute ago. They're going to go through there and come out the other side. I'll probably weld a nut to the back side, but I think this looks pretty good, I'd say. Some decent welds. That's why it made me so happy to go get some brand new steel. Put some nice clean welds on there. This one had a bunch of porosity, so I just ground it off. I don't know why I did that either, because this was clean. But anyway, this side looked nice, I thought. So, just an amateur welder, guys. Don't judge me too hard. Anyway, I'm thinking, once I figure out how to get this whole area done, I'm thinking like a big 1/8 inch plate that kind of follows this contour, this half circle. It's gonna be like a quarter circle there. And then somewhere up here, or even there, is gonna be whatever I use to mount the hood off of. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do for hinges, if the factory stuff's even gonna work with lengthening the hood. But I'm gonna have pretty well planning on having a solid brace piece out here somewhere that joins back into this somehow. Or maybe one from the bottom, because that's not gonna be enough. And that kind of worries me. If we got in a crash, if this truck ever was in a wreck, that's like gonna impale whoever's, you know, the driver's side and passenger side. So that's why I wanted to put the brace there. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how I'm gonna do the back just yet, but we'll figure it out. But it is nice and solid. I don't even have those screws in yet. It's just pinched between these two, so, or the bolts. So I'm gonna get some angle iron, some that's fairly wide, kind of like what was on that C60 bed, because it was like 1.5 inches by like 3 or 4 inches, so it kind of came out. I don't think I'll have to get that much, but I'll have to get something that sticks out a little bit to catch the fender over there. And that's how I'm gonna do that. I had it done on this side, but I think it's gonna have to be out a hair further, maybe. I don't know. I ended up moving the one on the passenger side in further. It's like the halfway point on the 2x2 is right about there on the firewall. You can see, well, that C-clamp is there, but you can kind of see. And that's directly perfectly straight. So we'll figure it out. We'll make it look nice. If it doesn't look nice, we'll cut it back out and redo it. That's the main thing here, because that's garbage. It looks like crap. Those kind of look like crap, but they're gonna be completely hidden. So we're gonna paint them and run them. But I put new bolts in this because I sent those back with that 4th gen, and figured it'd be easier just to go get new bolts and go fish those out of the bag in the 4th gen, 30 minutes away. Put these on so that way stuff's sealed up. And yeah, I sold the grill off the C60 this morning. I almost kind of didn't want to get rid of it because it was cool and it matched the rest of this, but I've got that grill and then my C60 grill. I think that'll be enough to do mock-up. So anyway, that dude was like, heck yeah, man, you're doing a good job. So that was good to hear. That was good to hear, because I've stayed cooped up in the garage on this thing for basically since August, and you know it's March now. So all my friends that I haven't seen since last summer, I'm still alive, guys. I've just been doing this. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to cover that bike back up because I don't need it getting disgusting, and probably reorganize these because they're in the freaking way, as always. And we're going to make some progress on this. All right, guys, today, so me and my buddy Levi went to the Boone County motorcycle swap meet. And so I looked at their Facebook page and I was like, well, you know, that looks pretty cool. It looks like it's old vintage motorcycles and stuff. I really did want to take the KZ down there, but it was 39 degrees this morning. I wasn't going to ride it. And the zero turn hasn't been off the trailer since like last summer. So I didn't want to mess with that at 5:30 this morning. Anyway, I just didn't take a bike. He took his old Kawasaki KE 100, or a G5, I guess it is. Anyway, that's cool. Old people checking it out. He got a handful of parts for it. I got 2 spark plugs for the KDX. That's all I got from there. Well, anyway, then we went on screwing around. This was Boone County, Indiana, so up by Lebanon. And we went to some country antique market. I was like, oh, it's cool. You know, there's going to be some old glassware from somebody's grandma, you know, at the farmhouse. But guess what I found? I found an 1861 Colt Navy revolver. I've been wanting one of these for forever, dude. I've had these pulled up on my page on the internet of like stuff I wanted to buy. But so this one, I've been wanting an 1851 to be quite honest about it. But there's an 1851 there sitting right next to this, but it was a short barrel, and those are ugly, so I didn't want one of those. And so this is a full-length barrel, so that's what the deciding factor was. And honestly, up close, the 1861 does look quite a bit better. Well, I thought. I don't know. The 1851's kind of boxy. I don't know. I'm happy with it. Nonetheless, you know, you probably seen the little scribbles on the cylinder. Well, guess what? That is sailboats engraved. I'll have to get a really good picture of it. You can't hardly tell here. But it's the sailboat. It's ships. It's ships engraved because it's a Navy revolver. Anyway, this is a Connecticut Valley Arms reproduction, which then I got to looking. That's a whole other thing. So Connecticut Valley Arms, CVA, was founded in 1971. So this can't be the original cylinder to this gun. 44 caliber. I'm very anxious to go try this out in the backyard, to be honest about it. I've always loved muzzle loading, so I got a whole bunch of Pyrex and number 11 caps sitting around. So we're gonna go out back and shoot some milk jugs, I'd say. There it is. That's one of the 2. I'd say that's the first one out of the 2. It doesn't line up, but that doesn't matter because I'm gonna buy a conversion cylinder, which I was also looking at. So the 1851, apparently, I don't know if it's different. I didn't think it was different, but I looked it up, and the conversion cylinder for putting 45 long Colts in this looks like it only fits a 1851, but I could be wrong. And also, that is based on Pieta and Uberti, which is the, I guess, the current reproduction brands that are out making these things. And that's what I had pulled up on Google. I was wanting one of these forever. And so this is 285 bucks. I think the ones online are like 450, 435. Flea market muzzleloader. Hopefully it doesn't blow my hand off. Well, that was definitely a success for a flea market revolver. I think this was a good purchase. I looked it over pretty good before I actually was like, yeah, let's spend some money on it. You know, pretty well as soon as I saw it, I was like, heck yeah, let's spend some money on it. So, but I did give it a good looking over. It is tight. It doesn't have any play. What's that, half cock? At full cock, it doesn't have any play. One of my buddies, I remember, had a revolver. I don't know where he got it, but it was apparently really cheap. But like at full cock, the freaking cylinder was like this, you know? So I'm a cowboy now. We're gonna do an accuracy check now. Now my right hand's still here. We're using protection, of course. So the short conclusion of me shooting this gun for the second time, accuracy, is that I died, actually. So that's not good. So if those were bad guys, I'd be dead. Because within 6 shots, the cap got jammed within the frame of the gun twice. After you fire it, the cap kind of like explodes and mushrooms, and it got jammed between the frame of the gun, preventing me from cocking it. So I had to go into my bag there, and I got some nails for hanging up targets, and a bunch of number 11 percussion caps and ammo for muzzleloaders and whatnot. So anyway, I dug that out of there with a nail. And then the third mess up was that the percussion cap fell off altogether. So I had to go back and get another and stick it on there and fire. So basically 3 shots. I think it's fairly accurate. You gotta shoot kind of low because I'm only shooting at like 15 feet away. But anyway, yeah, so I put some holes in there. That makes me happy at least. Shot that one, and not that one. That one though. Oh, this bush light got shot. So yeah, he's dead bush light. This is a dead WeMac. So, good. All right, guys, it is the next morning. So last night, after I got done shooting this, I cleaned it. It was pretty gross. So anyway, we're gonna leave that. Actually, we're gonna put it somewhere where it's not gonna get filthy and dusty today. And we're gonna get back to the most important matters at hand here, and that is the Chevy here. So my goal today basically is gonna be finish that little piece and then take it all out and then mock up, weld those fenders back to where they're gonna be really close to how they should be from the factory. Well, those didn't turn out too bad. They're all right, I guess. There's a little bit of slag on that one. Oh well. I hit some of the slag up here with the grinder. I ground off that top weld so it's flush so I can mount stuff up here without it getting wavy. But yeah, most of the slag was like right in this area. But I ground that off, and then I guess I should have blew all those shavings out of there from drilling these holes through. But anyway, yeah, so this is nice and solid now. All right, so anyway, my dad the other day, I sent him some pictures of this and showed him what I was doing here. And he's like, you basically have a missile right there that's gonna go through your leg. So I need to figure out how to weaken this. I thought about cutting some wedges in it, probably 3 to be honest. So that way it's in quarters. So one right about here, and that'd be like a minor fender bender. It probably wouldn't even bend this, to be honest. And then one about midways, and then another one somewhere back here. So that way, between the three of them, it will crumple up and fold up, you know, instead of coming through the firewall. I mean, I'm gonna put a piece of metal around the top, and I don't know about those two holes from the factory inner fender yet, but I'm just kind of building this thing as I go. So right now, the radiator and core support and all that is solid enough that it's trustworthy, and I got a good distance between my fan there. It's enough to get that wire out of the way of the fan that controls the clutch. So all I really got to do is build those to make it 100% solid and done. Hopefully by the end of today, you know, it's Monday, I got to go to work tonight. So by the end of the day, I'd like to have those fenders mocked up and maybe cut that red hood and mock it up. We'll see. We'll see to where we get to. All right, guys, I have this where I like it for a mock-up as far as like starting to weld it together. This broke off the other day. It still broke, never welded it back. So I just clamped it together, stuck some wood blocks in here. So I kind of got them wedged. That one's sitting on my bottom support that I just made. And that one's kind of up under that, and it's keeping it from teetering. And it's just sitting on this angle iron here. So the body line is straight. This area is probably gonna be difficult. I have my door gap fairly uniform. Fender's a little twisty. Might adjust it some. It looks like it needs to go back at the bottom a little bit. And then, you know, this is all wavy and jagged and close in some places and far in others. So I'll try to do the best I can with that. And, you know, this is only for mock-up purposes, but I'm gonna make it look nice. I may even run this front end for a minute until I get a full 100% idea that I'm not gonna be like, wow, this is hideous. You know, short, normal, good looking front end versus long. I don't know. Hopefully it looks good. You know, we're not gonna have an ugly truck, especially after we did all this work. So we're gonna make it work. All right, so I didn't exactly have a stopping point in my head when I started welding that. So now it's all the way welded on the one side. Anyway, here's this. This is my round part right there. So I'm gonna go transfer this to a piece of 18 gauge I got back there behind the dirt bike. And anyway, I'm gonna cut that out and try to form it to fit in there. So that's gonna be tough and difficult, but you know what, this is practice. If nothing else, this is practice, because I don't know, I thought it turned out pretty good, especially this one. This side is pretty good, and then this one I'm gonna have to beat the heck out of to get the contour I want. So, but it ain't too bad. I mean, it's not like it's way off or anything. So yeah, I'll get this in there, and that'll make the bottom nice and solid. And then I may do up there, I may just fill this whole thing in, to be honest. Anyway, yeah, check this out. I had the welder in the way, so you couldn't really see it. This is done all the way up. The body line is real close, I think, honestly, because the bottom of it right there, if you can see, is not welded closed yet. So I'm gonna beat on it a little bit, and it'll probably line up almost perfectly. And then I went all the way up with it. And this was like 3/8 wide right there. I mean, that was a pretty good gap to fill with a MIG welder. And then down here is pretty close, and it's kind of wavy in there, and you know. None of it was touching at all. I scooted it forward some because it was touching at one point. And I was like, there's no way that this can be touching right now after they torched it and took a giant hunk out of it, you know. So it's all wavy, and between 16th and 3/8 gap all wavy up through there. All right, here's my update for the night. I got that fender fab together, put on. It's on with the thing that I made, the harness, or not the harness, the core support. And then I cut a new piece of angle iron. It goes all the way up here, so it gets this hole. This is a hair short. Oh well, it's gonna be under the hood, so it's not gonna be very visible. Well, I guess at a car show it would be. Hood's gonna be up. All right, anyway, doesn't matter, I'm rambling. So that's how that turned out. I don't think that's too bad, really. I mean, judging from how it looked. And here's this. It needs a little bit of block and dolly. And I'll put like a 67 through 72 rectangular turn signal light there. Or I could do one of them up here, but that'd probably look stupid. I know the early 60s trucks had them on the fender. My rat truck had it out there on the fender, but they had the big wide fenders because it was early 60s truck. Anyway, so this is a C10 grill. It does not line up. The bolt holes do not line up. So I learned that today. That doesn't line up. It's zip tied over there. Got a bolt halfway through it over here. Got the bumper mocked up to where it's gonna be close to where it's supposed to be. I took those mounts that were broke, if you guys remember or saw that video a long time ago, when, well, only like a month or two ago, when I took that off the C60, wasn't even 2 months ago. When I took this off the C60, they had a big old crack in it. So I ground those down to bare metal pretty much, and took the cut off wheel, went down that crack, cleaned the inside of it out, and then took the grinder wheel, the rock grinder, not the flat disc, and like cut a big fat valley in that, so I welded it shut. But I'm gonna have to make, there's gonna be quite a bit of distance here to make that frame there touch to get to that bumper. So anyway, what I've decided, you guys probably saw it, it looks kind of stupid right there. It looks like a sperm whale, like Moby Dick, like how he's long and tubular. That's what that looks like to me. It's ugly. So I think I'm gonna leave it for now and then go ahead and focus on the passenger side. And when I do that, I'm gonna have a swoop. And I think that'll just tie it together so much better. So that's gonna be the plan on the other side. I don't think it'll be too awfully hard to get the swoop, except for where it has to contour and go down and around. I don't know how I'm gonna do all that, especially since this ends up here. It's gonna, I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. But yeah, that's why we're doing it with this red fender, because if I mutilate it, then at least it's not, well, I don't know, it's starting to look pretty good. That back there does, at least. This looks like a freaking sperm whale. Looks like Moby Dick. But yeah, anyway. So, needs a little bit of blocking and dollying, because I beat the crap out of it. This edge is pretty nice and smooth. I just formed that on the orange truck tailgate. So, not too bad. But anyway, let's look at some different angles of this thing. I don't know, it does look kind of long. As long as you don't focus on that spot, I don't think it looks too bad. But I will have to do the little contour thing to tie it together a little better. Yeah, I mean, from the front, you can't even tell. I think it looks fine there. That bumper looks good. I straightened this thing back out somewhat. I just hooked or put a piece of angle iron across the top and clamped it and beat on it a little bit, and then I put a C-clamp on the flat piece of steel up here, like a 1/4 inch piece of steel, a C-clamp, and tried to push it from the bottom, but I don't think I'm gonna mess with that too much. It's straighter than it was, but it doesn't have to be perfect because this is just mock-up. I don't know, I think all this in here looks pretty good. Down the road, I'll have to trim this out of here, this structural thing, because it's hitting that angle iron back there, and it's probably not gonna be necessary anyway. I had to cut it all out of here anyway, so. And then at the bottom of these, both the red fenders, the bolt was seized up. It was really hard to get in and out, or to get out, so I just stuck a grinder in there and zipped it off when it was on that red cab. So if I actually do use this fender, I'm gonna have to do some work on that bolt hole down there. I cleaned up the shop, it was disgusting, so there's like an inch thick of dust on the floor. It's like sand. So I blew all the sawdust and metal shavings and crap off of this, put on my hardware and stuff where it needs to go. So we're ready to pick up tomorrow when we get back from work and take a nap. See, that bumper looks good there. I mean, from here, it looks fine. You can't even tell it's been lengthened. And that bumper has a nice rounded edge to it. I think that looks good there. And so that dude has another, the guy that I got this red truck from has another bumper sitting in the scrap metal. It's all wavy. It was the one off this red truck. And I thought about, and I don't know, we'll see. I thought about adding into this and like making it come around. So I guess that's option number 2. Make the bumper come all the way back, you know, somewhere back here, and it'll hide all this. Or maybe that'll look stupid too and draw even more attention to this ugly area. But I'm thinking the contour, that's a really good start, to be honest. And I'll do that to the other side and see how it looks. And then I'm gonna focus on, from there, getting it drivable, because it is, what is this, like March 3rd, 4th, 5th, somewhere in here, Monday, whatever it is. And, you know, I'm gonna get real busy here in the next couple weeks. So, this is unfortunately gonna go to the back burner. So I want it to be able to move under its own power at the very least. So it's not just taking up the garage. Gone as balls to the wall on this as I possibly can in the last few weeks. So we want to see her drivable by spring.